Hello and welcome to liferayforyou.com. In my previous tutorial, I have told you what is the Liferay Portlet lifecycle. Initially, what is Portlet lifecycle? I've told you what are the methods available in Portlet lifecycle, which are init, action, render, and destroy. And in this tutorial, I'm going to tell you how the lifecycle is being executed, which are the methods being called in our portlet, how we can configure those, what are the URL responsible to call a particular lifecycle method in Liferay. So first of all, let's go to the portlet URLs. What are portlet URLs? How many type of portlet URLs are over there? So first, there are three types of URL which are available in Liferay. First is render URL. Well, basically these are used to tell Portlet that we need to generate a markup, which is basically it can be HTML, it can be XML, WML, or basically it depends upon the current state of the Portlet. What is the current state, and then corresponding to that, the particular modes method in the life cycle is being called. For example, do view is being called if the Portlet is in view mode, and do edit is being called if the Portlet is in edit mode. So this URL which is being calling to a particular modes method is called render URL. And another type of URL is action URL, which is basically used for action processing and processing the result and then sending it back to the server. Basically it sends back the result to the server by putting up the attributes in the request object, and then then the render method is being called, and then corresponding to that render method the JSP is being called, and the result is being rendered on the JSP. So basically there we are making an action URL, and this is referred to as action request. Another one is a resource URL. Well, basically this is used for processing or retrieving the resources from the server, like an image file or a JSON object or an XML object, or whatever you want to get. So well, basically resource URL are used in Ajax-Sol. That's some thumb rule. So let's get started with our portlet development. So in my last tutorial, I have created a sample portlet. So this is my portlet.xml, which has defined that the controller class will be sample controller, and this is extending the MVC portlet. So if you see, this MVC portlet is extending Liferay portlet class, and then this Liferay portlet class is extending in the end generic portlet class, which is implementing our portlet class, portlet interface. So there should be a do view method, which is the by default render method, which is a minimum requirement for a portlet to get started. So I'm gonna put up a systrace and see whether this method is being called or not. So I'm gonna then just say run as enter build. So after this building is done, the request will come first of all on this do view method, and then this will call the super do view method, which will by default get a view template which we have defined in init. So it will be calling this JSP, and it will be including all of my result into the view.jsp, and then it is going to call this JSP, and this JSP is going to render on my portlet. So if you see over here, and I'm gonna say welcome. So, and I'm going to add this portlet. So here it is, sample controller, and then I'm just going to say add. So it is the sample controller portlet in view mode, and see, this sample controller.doView method is being called. So one thing what I can do is I can put up multiple portlets over here, because what I have done is I have told this Liferay that in Liferay portlet.xml that this portlet can be instantiable. This means that set the instantiable value to true if the portlet can appear multiple times on a page. If set to false, the portlet can appear only once on the page. So which is by default the value is. So I have set it true, so I can put up multiple instances of this portlet on this particular page. So I'm gonna say add, and then I'm gonna say add it. So this portlet is being called over here multiple times. I can add this multiple times. So whenever I'm gonna put up a hit over on this thing, then 4 times or 5 times or how many times this portlet has been landed over here, that many times doView method will be called corresponding to each instance of the portlets. So well, basically we call this a portlet landing on the portal page, we call it as an instance of the portlet. So if you see and go to look and feel attribute over here, so you can find out what is the instance name over here. See, instance ID is this is the portlet name, sample controller wall, sample portlet, and then this is the instance ID which will be unique in all over the portal. So this is the life cycle which is being called if there is no action method is involved. So every time the portlet comes, a request will be sent to this page, welcome page. Then this welcome page will be calling each and every portlet, and this portlet will be called. This portlet, when will it will be called? It will be called for the default render method, and this render method is doView method. And then from here, doView super doView will be called, and from over there it will take out the attribute from over here, init parameter from over here, view template, and then it is just going to pass out the information of the JSP over here, and then it is going to just get rendered. Okay, so what I want to do is right now I want to change the life cycle and I want to call an action method. So for that, what I need is I need an action URL. So for that, what I'll do is I'll go to snippets, and then I'm gonna call portlet taglit. Here these are the values that are available. Action URL, namespace is there, parameters is there, property is there, resource URL is there, and render URL is there. So I'm gonna put up this action URL over here, and then I'm gonna put up name, and its value will be let's say process action sample, or I'm gonna say it action method sample, and then I'm going to give the variable name which will be action URL where. Okay, so this is my view.jsp. Now I need to call this URL. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call ahref, and then I'm gonna pass it like this, and I'm gonna give it action variable, and just close it down, again close it down. So I'm gonna put up over here, click me for action URL, for calling action method from action URL. So well, basically this is my variable attribute. This is my variable which I'm gonna put up over here. So it will be rendered into this ahref thing, and then this will be the method it will be looking for. So for now we will be just running it like this. So there is no method available for action over here, so it should print us out an exception specifying that it cannot find a method which is associated with the action URL which we have given up over here. So my portlet is getting deployed. So this is it. So I'm gonna say welcome, and then in each of the instance there will be changes which will be this, that click me for calling the action method for action URL from action URL. So I'm gonna click this, and then it is going to throw me an exception specifying that com.liferay.for you sample controller dot action method sample is not available. So what it is doing is it is going to search for a method in our controller class which is having name this and having the parameters of action request and action response. So this will be the thing, and I'm gonna put a public and void, and then I'm gonna say like this. Okay, I'm gonna put up action request, and I'm gonna put up action response, and then I'm gonna put systrace over here, which will be specifying that we are coming into this method. So I'm gonna again run as ant build. So this will just redeploy my portlet over here. And okay, so I'm gonna go back to the Liferay page, which will be my home page. So for now it is calling so many methods, so I'm gonna just remove all the other instances that I have deployed on the server. So I'm gonna remove this, and I'm gonna remove this. Okay, so now when I'm clicking over this method, so what we will see is that if you remember the life cycle that I have told you, it is that first of all init method will be called, which has already been called. Then the action method will be called if you are putting up any action URL, and then the render method will be called corresponding to that. So in our scenario, what should be called is, first of all this method should be called, which is action method. Then this method will be called, which will be responsible for rendering out the JSP. So I'm gonna say click me for calling this JSP. So it is going to call action method sample, then it is going to call sample controller.toView. So the request will be coming to this method first, and then it will be coming over here, and then our JSP will be rendered. So this is basically Liferay specific thing, which Liferay has implemented over the top of the portlet, which is specify whenever an action method is performed, then it will put up your request has been completed successfully. We can remove this using just an init parameters. So I'm going to tell you afterwards what is that. So once you put up this parameter in over here, then there will be no such method over here. So also if there is any exception being thrown, then it will put up that there has been some error in this particular portlet, and then portlet is temporarily unavailable. So it is going to put up such message over here, which we can configure using hooks and all those. So this is it about Liferay portlet lifecycle, how render method is being called and how an action method is being called. Thanks for watching up till now. I'll be back soon with some other tutorials about Portlet and all those stuff. Thanks a lot.